Hello.
Maybe we can take a few breaths together before
Yeah.
we just open up the floor and invite you to jump in with your inquiries. Hmm. Hmm. Welcome to make some sound on your out breath. It's the end of the day for me.
It's
So,
the beginning of the day for me.
yeah. Emmy
Hmm.
joining us. It's lovely to see you, Emmy, or to have you in the room. Yeah. Where is everybody? Where are you based at the moment? Welcome to unmute yourself or just pop it in the chat, whichever's easier. Ah, you're in Africa, in Lusaka. Great, Emmy.
I'm in California, LA right now.
Hmm.
Other South Africa, yeah.
Didi, you're in South Africa? Whereabouts in South Africa?
Do you know Pringle Bay?
I do. Nice, sleepy little gentle spot.
Mm,
Wonderful.
moving to Betty's Bay. So just
Oh,
round the
big,
corner. I've
big
just
move.
rushed in off the beach, windswept to heck, to make showers on time. So yeah,
All
beautiful sun.
of you is welcome.
Mm.
And welcome, Jenny, too. Lovely to see you. Glad you could make it. Yeah. Well, let's jump in. We've
Yeah.
got Marsha B in the house,
Hello.
and you're welcome to ask her difficult questions or anything that you're inquiring about, anything that you want to know about whether the course is a good fit for you, where you are in your journey right now, both personally and professionally. So this
Yeah.
is your
We have a
time.
small enough group too, if you want to share a little bit about what you think you want to work on facilitation wise, like what project or workshop or event, or just if it's open, that's fine too. Like just curious. I'm curious about that. So feel free to share that as well. Yeah, so just open up the floor for your questions.
I'm happy to ask. Thanks for this opportunity to meet this evening. Whenever you look at a course online, I think the fear always is that it's genuine. You're investing your time and money, so you're trusting in the establishment, the accreditation, the system, the support. So I feel this is the first step to see that this is a genuine, um, proper established company, um, that's offering a very valuable skill. Um, my background's nursing, 38 years. I'm more in the medical, online education. My specialty is diabetes. I'm not contractually working right this minute in that aspect. I'm more steering towards the therapy of breath work, yoga flow, safe place, counseling, that kind of thing. So there's obviously a lot more to that, but it's really just to establish the amount of time to invest weekly that you would see is I've done a lot of online accredited courses through the University of Morgan and so forth. So I know online is a lot of work. So it's really just asking the type of time you think the course is requiring of us and the facilitated support or mentorship. I'd like to hear about that. And you talk about a 12-month payment. Would you consider a 24-month payment? only because I'm doing other training as well. Um, yeah, that's kind of a starting point. Lots of questions.
Yeah, I can take the time question, which is a great question. So the calls are roughly every other week. Um, we have some breaks in between, but it's for we have 3 trimesters. The calls are every other week during the trimester, and they're about 2 hours. So it's an hour and a half of formal committed time, and then we usually leave it open for an extra half an hour for Q&A, discussion, that kind of thing. Um, and then we have reading materials and content that we would recommend doing before each class. So that would probably be about an hour, hour and a half also on the off weeks. And then there's plenty of bonus material, which is not required for the course, but is there for you. We've got some really fantastic um, master classes. We've got some office hours, and we've got, I believe, is it bliss dance, breath work, something else, Rianne? I can't remember. So we've got a bunch of like just nice little bonuses that are there to support you, that are not requirements, but you may want to set that time aside for those as well. So I would say 2 hours a week to two and a half, 2 to 2.5 hours a week probably would be the recommended. It might vary a little up or down, but to have time to do the readings, to have time to come to the classes or watch the recordings, and then to t participate in some of those bonus things that we have. Um, yeah, that would be, if I were doing the class, I would probably set aside, 2.5 hours a week for that. Um,
Yeah, I'll just
and then yeah, go ahead.
pop in that I actually asked this question of Carly, who participated in the course last year as a Shakti Shiva faculty member. She facilitates our year 1 Bliss Dance foundation training. She said for her, the commitment was very manageable, very doable. Showing up to the live classes is a big piece. That's
Hmm.
like the primary piece. And the contemplation questions that we offer and share, they're not like essay type questions. They're very experiential, very off cuff, very real, like what's moving for you. So they don't require hours of like homework assignments. They're very conversational almost, contemplational for yourself. So yeah, I think your timing is probably accurate, Marcia.
Hmm. And I
Yeah.
also want to speak to between each trimester, we have a month where we don't do calls. And so that's time to integrate, catch up, like review. So there's breaks built in. So if you start to feel behind, you can catch up without feeling like, oh my God, I'm losing the threads. And that, obviously that's self-managed in those breaks, but I really like that structure because it really makes it possible for folks who life gets busy, work gets busy, vacations happen. So it's nice to have that built in to be able to catch up whilst keeping kind of a consistent pace and not having to double your workload. And then I'll let Ryan answer the question about payment plans.
So the payment piece, I'd be super happy to engage with you one-on-one. Perhaps we can do that on WhatsApp or email. And I'm open to that conversation. That feels the most appropriate way to move forward with that. And yeah, just also I love that you're checking in on something reputable because your online can either be magical or not. And I know we have 2 of our Bliss Dance students here, and then Jenny,
Hmm.
you've worked with me in person, and Andreas also have done quite a few different workshops that you've attended that I've organized. It'd be very sweet if at some point you could maybe share some of your experience with Dee Dee that may offer her something concrete from a personal experience, a direct
Hmm.
experience.
And I'll just say, as the faculty, I teach for a number of different organizations and have taught for some that I no longer teach for. And I will say, as a faculty, my experience of the infrastructure support from Shakti Shiva is very high. It's been really wonderful having the Mighty Network where people can drop in and ask questions, having, just lots of different things inserted for different learning styles. There's just a lot of really robust support. So I'll just speak to that as somebody who's taught inside of some very fly-by-night things that I didn't realize were kind of fly-by-night and in some well-established organizations. And Shakti Shiva is one of my favorites as far as well-established and robust and um, supportive of different learning styles. Bye, Andres.
Sure.
Maybe I can just make some commentary around my experience with Rian and the other facilitators who I know are very embodied facilitators, and from the standards that I've experienced with Rian and with Rianne and Kali and Lola and Valentina has been of an extremely high standard. And some of the experiences I've had have been absolutely life-changing for me and have turned my life in a seeking, and probably part of why I'm in the session today is I finished a corporate career after 40 years at a senior corporate level in March last year. I then went wandering all over the countryside and did lots of walking and stuff. And then in December, I had the most shattering experience. I had a stroke. And I now find myself at a stage that I don't know what I want to do. I know that I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience and a lot of stuff to share with people. I've done a lot of personal inner work, family constellations, some deep healing, some breath work, some transformations. So and I'm a herbalist in training. I work with steaming for women and specifically around women's issues. So I'm looking to say, what is it that I want to do? And then what do I need in that package? And certainly to be a embodied facilitator would be a crucial step. And part of why I'm listening to it today is to find out, so my stroke has made me my capacity of my brain has changed quite dramatically. So I'm listening to understand the number of hours, the kind of work, because I'm really not able at this stage to cope with that kind of thing. And that's really why I'm in the call tonight, is to just see what is the commitment and then to really assess together with my physician about what can I really do. And I respect Rihanna hugely, and Dan Bureau, and the people that I've been exposed through the Shakti organization, Shakti Shiva organization.
Thank
That's
you,
a big
Jennifer.
challenge, hey, Jennifer. Big challenge that you've unexpectedly arising for you.
Yeah, and the discoveries of what caused it are life-changing for me. No, my life's been a miracle to this point, actually. So it's just trying to work it all out. And I don't know at this stage, yeah. But thank you for that.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. My sense of capacity wise is much like we were sharing with Dee Dee. It feels like the invitation is to really show up to the live gatherings, because that's where we create community, where we're interacting, where we're engaging, asking questions, practicing together.
That's what I gathered from that. Yeah.
And, that is 2 calls per month, and then there's a masterclass often as well. So maximum 3 calls per month. And that's not every month. So,
and is the time in the call, you're saying about 2.5 hours or so?
1.5 to 2 hours.
1.5 to 2 hours, yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah.
We make a pivot point at 90 minutes because that's when the teaching, the official teaching part ends, and then we keep the class open for 30
Okay.
minutes for kind of hanging out and seeing what's arising, what's alive, in a slightly more informal space.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you'll need to feel into your capacity. Does that feel doable
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. I'm not sure yet. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Mhm.
the suggestion of the 2 to 2.5 hours total is to include time to review things, jot down notes, do the reflection questions for
Could be, and
yourself.
it could be at any other time in
That
your
could be at
own
any other time. Yeah.
or in your own agenda. Understood that.
Hmm.
Understood
Hmm.
Yeah.
that.
And on the weeks that we don't have calls, it would probably be more like half an hour or an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And of course, you would be encouraged to ask for the support that you need throughout the course. We will be, there are various things like we put people into study buddy groups for each term. We pair people up for accountability, and you can find your own pace with that with the
Hmm.
partner. It's not intended or designed to be overwhelming. So, yeah, it's also about asking for what you need, asking for the support that you need as we move along, both in the live classes and in the Mighty Network
Hmm.
forum.
I will also say that one of my goals in the course is that as you move through the course, you start to learn what you need to show up as a facilitator, which is really about tending to things in your own life. And so this is all designed very much to be in dialogue with your day-to-day experience, right? It's not like someday I'll be a facilitator. We didn't structure it that way. It's right now you are doing things in your life that you must facilitate, and we're expanding those skills. So it's looking at things like what's my capacity? It's looking at things like what are my strengths and where are my weaknesses and what do I want to develop? Recognizing that that will be unique for each person in the class. And so a lot of the additional support that we have put in is for the people who are like, oh, I've identified this is something I want to expand on. I can lean into that more. And then if you're like, no, I kind of got that, you can kind of let that sit on the back burner or pick it up later or what have you. So it is really, Claire always says, my co-facilitator always says, facilitation skills are life skills. And so it is designed to fit into your life, and it's also designed to be in dialogue with your life as you go through the course.
How do
Hmm.
you, if I may ask, is there a workbook that you work in, or journaling or workbook? So as you're working through in your pace, there's yeah,
Great question. So we don't have a workbook per se, but all of the exercises are in the Mighty Network, and we encourage you to have a notebook that you then put your own thoughts into. And you can also respond in Mighty Network in a dialogue with your classmates if you want to also. So I always encourage people to have a special notebook for each course that they do. That's, each long course that they do with me, because then it's like everything's in one place and it's not, with grocery lists in the middle. Um, so it's nice to have a notebook, but you can print things out and put them in that notebook if you want to. So there are materials, but it isn't in a book format.
right. And
Yeah.
you're using Zoom as your main form of contact, and then obviously the online
Hmm.
prospectus or program. Okay.
And you
Okay.
get email reminders also about different things that are going on.
Okay.
Zoom is where the live classes are held and they're all recorded. And
Hmm.
Mighty Network is kind of like a private Facebook for the cohort. It's where you'll pick up your module. So rather than a workbook, we put out a module at the beginning of each month in written PDF format and then also in audio format so that you can either read or listen. And that's your content, sort of learning content for, diciamo,
Sorry,
for
I'm
the
late.
month. No problem. Lovely to have you here.
So fijn. Ja.
So yeah, that's your content or your teaching material. And then, as Marsha said, the contemplation questions you can journal in your notebook. And also, we really encourage you to contribute into the Mighty Network because so much of our learning is through each other and through each other's learnings. And we often find that we're confronted with similar situations, challenges. We struggle with similar things. And so that's really helpful to learn through each other's shared experiences. Mm.
I'm, I'm sure you've also experienced a lot of healing amongst the learners or the students, however you label the, people coming in. There must be a lot of healing as well with each learner coming online as part of their growth. So that sharing sounds amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah, and all our courses at Shakti Shiva Academy, we really encourage vulnerability because that's where the intimacy lies, and that's our primary focus is on what's true, what's real, what's honest. And that's, about not presenting our coping, successful, happy selves.
Hmm.
It's about showing up when we're broken. It's about making mistakes. It's about humility. It's about asking for what we need. And we practice and we learn to do that together. So it is very healing. I actually found I participated in the first cohort, and I built a lot of confidence for myself through the course that I had double guessed myself. It was a healing for me, the part of me that really questioned my own capacity and skill as a facilitator was like, okay, I'm learning and I'm doing well. And so there was a lot of healing in my confidence, I would say.
Yeah.
That,
I
that
would
question.
also say that there's a lot of learning that happens between the students. One of my favorite things about this course is that, yes, Claire and I are very experienced facilitators. Between us, we have about half a century's worth of facilitation training and skills and experience. Um, and I would say probably all of the students came in with their questions and doubts about themselves, about what they can do, what their capacity is, what their
Mm.
skills level is. I watched everyone's skill and capacity grow, but I also watched people just set down the doubts in a major way. And there's also so much learning between the students. So we really try to set it up where it's not just the knowledge is coming down from on high, but rather we trust that the people coming in, whether they've formally facilitated before or not, people are drawn to this work because they are already doing some of these things. And so there's a lot of learning to be had from one another. And we really want to pull that learning out so that we all benefit from like the discoveries that each people have made about how to navigate a thing in yourself, how to navigate a thing happening in the room, how to build a container, how to do self-care afterwards, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Hmm.
Finn, did you have your hand up? Did you have a question?
Thank you for seeing that. I did, and then I took it down.
Okay.
I wasn't clear that this was the appropriate forum for my question. I'm happy to share it because this is kind of Lisa's office hours. Um, Sorry, that's formally a program I'm in for the people who are not familiar with that. How I would normally use this time. Um, yeah, my question is finding a dakini. So, you know, that's I've Googled it. I've asked a few people. Um, Figure this is a good forum for it. Uh, So that's the question. But if it's not appropriate for here, I completely understand.
We co-opted office hours for a Q&A about the fundamentals of embodied facilitation course.
Right.
But
Yes.
I'm loving your inquiry. I think you have to wander, you have to get lost, you have to go into the forest to
Not
pull
under the
out.
influence of psilocybin or MDMA or LSD. Although, I mean, maybe, because I have done that, but that's for another story.
He didn't
Yeah.
mind licking.
So
Yeah.
I'm move on from that question and just open
Yeah.
the space
Thank you.
to our focus. Thanks. It's been lovely to have you here.
Yeah. Other questions about the
Yeah.
embodied facilitation course? And totally love it. We got another question that has nothing to do with it.
No, I don't have any other questions. I think I was discussing what you were saying about the growth and the self-doubt and the addressing of that self-doubt, which kind of, I think, I don't know if it plagues everybody, but it certainly is a plague. It plagues me at times is the doubt in my ability to hold spaces and to not contribute and not to pull it in a direction. And maybe my past corporate career has always been moving things to a direction, whereas in this forum, it's about not having an agenda, but allowing it to grow organically. And I have enormous self-doubt about the ability to do that. But as you've spoken through it, it's helped me understand that that would help address that. And it would be a nice forum or a nice space to do that in.
Hmm. I love that you brought up the moving things towards an agenda because a lot of times, a lot of other facilitation is like, okay, we've got to get through this material. So how do we get through this material? And I think you're really gesturing to something that makes this course different, which is
Yeah.
yes, we have material we might want to cover in a workshop, perhaps. Some of us don't. Some of us are really just creating experiences. Some of us are creating experiences with some educational content. Some of us are doing we're doing a training, but the experience of the training is as important as the material of the training. In all of those cases, the skills that I think are unique in this particular training is how do you create a space where things can arise and things can emerge and it doesn't derail you or make you feel like the group is spinning out of control? How do you create a space for the uncertainty while still holding a container, so that
Yeah.
your participants can really feel that you are holding them? And that is a skill set. And I think that you'll leave with a lot more confidence in your ability to do that kind of thing.
And
Yeah.
having been in sessions and groups where I've seen the kind of space holding that Rihanna has and that I have experienced through
Hmm.
retreats where I've been, where she has been, it has been enormously that
Mm.
it's not had a specific agenda, but it's like we're here to hold the space, and no matter what happens in that space, it is allowed to mature in a way,
Yeah.
and but it feels so safe. And it's that safety, because I'm not sure I could hold a safe space for others. And
Mm.
that is a skill, that is what I would like to learn. And I understand that a lot of the learning would come from me in order to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a piece that's coming that is about our own growth in this course, and that's where I think the healing that Dee Dee was referring to. I've seen a lot of that with participants. And then there are actual structural things that we're going to teach you how to put in place. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like it doesn't, as participants, it doesn't feel like, oh, there's these rigid things, but there's pieces of logistics, container building, very specific elements to put in, things to know that are likely to come up in a room anytime you have people together. And once you kind of know what those are, that's the like pragmatic side of the training. So there's a sort of a personal growth piece. There's a kind of esoteric, magical, like this is what happens when people get in a room and we don't know. There's a kind of a stepping into the unknowing esoteric part. And then there's a really pragmatic, structural. I love mixing the very like the very practical tools with the personal growth tools with the X factor. And I feel like we do a really good
Yeah.
job of doing all three in this course.
Hmm.
I think in the beginning you said showing up is the number one trump card. Um, and I think that's where you honor your own ability to recognize you're going forward on this journey for a reason, and how it unfolds is what you put into it and what you get out of it, and the knock on for where you want to take it. So I think as women in this call, it's quite amazing. I mean, I'm 61 now. I don't feel 61. I feel a lot younger. Our ability in life is so multifaceted, and yet we get to a point where we start questioning and doubting our abilities. When you actually think of what you are able of, it's quite interesting that we get to a point where we start to doubt ourselves, no matter where that is in our timeline.
Mm,
And often something else triggered that. And I think that's the beauty of looking at some of those life cycles and lessons,
mm,
because we're so capable and so able to do so much and to help others in their healing journey too. So I think I don't think there's a single person on this planet that doesn't have self-doubt in something, but it's just quite interesting that I'm also doing this course to really make sure that I am able and capable of holding space and respecting the discipline and the behavior and the grounding that we need in being able to hold space. But when I look at my professional career, my ability on so many levels went without questioning. And obviously the learning and the years of sacrifice and all of those studies to get you to that point,
mm,
um, you never doubted. So it's just quite interesting, the twist um, that can happen in our path. I don't know if I'm making
mm,
sense, but is it doubt, or is it just wanting to be good or maybe perfect or being recognized? Is that ego? You know, there's so
mm,
many things around self-doubt that I'm
mm.
hoping there's an opportunity on this 12 months together. I'll leave it like that.
Yeah. I love that you brought up ego and perfectionism in that. We talk a fair amount about how perfectionism can get in the way of being a great facilitator. And how when we're aiming for perfect, there's no room for humanity and for just the vulnerability that Rianne was speaking about earlier. And then the ego piece is also a big part, and talking about how power manifests in a room. When if I'm facilitating because I want everybody to like me or think I'm really cool or think that I know a lot, it's not going to be a very good experience for the participants because it's not clear that I'm there to serve them. And if I'm only there to serve them and I don't tend to my needs and tend to do my self-care and make sure that I've got support and all of that, that also won't be a very good experience. So too much ego and also not enough ego can be a real problem in the facilitation space. And perfectionism is absolutely something that can get in the way. And I've seen a lot of really excellent facilitators and people who have a lot to offer the world not offer it because they're caught in the perfectionism loop. It is very much an intention of mine that we all walk out of a year together going, I have something to offer. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can have a standard of what's good enough and I can grow from there. And I think that framework of recognizing that good enough is possible and growth can still happen out of good enough is a really beautiful place to stand,
Hmm.
um, to undermine the perfectionism, but also to like, undermine that self-doubt. It kind of handles some of that self-doubt because you're like, oh, I don't have to be perfect to bring something to the world. I just have to know more than my students do on some things, and I need to get out of the way when they know more than I do. And both of those things are really valuable because that's the nice thing also about facilitating adults versus teaching children is that, with teaching children, there's a lot of information and a lot of modeling that has to happen. With adults, that's still happening, but also then it goes both ways. There's much more of a bi-directional learning, and so you don't have to have it all figured out. Your student, you can facilitate something that you know less about than anybody else in the room. I said this in the other call, I don't need to know about engineering to facilitate a group of engineers. I might need to know about how feelings work or how embodied experiences come up. I might need to know enough to catch some of the references or to ask a clarifying question when I don't catch the references. But it's fine that they know more about that than I do. It's You can still facilitate that. And a younger version of me would not have thought that was true. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Other questions or thoughts or things you're noodling on?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Did you want to share, Ellie?
Yes, well, I was in the first group and I hesitated, but I wanted to be a second time to experience you again. And I'm hesitating because next week is my pension week, my retirement starts, and have not I was not very stimulated in my youth to do my thing in that way, not much uh, positive, and positive strokes in going where I wanted to go. So there's a lot of doubt. Part of me is very much in doubt. And I studied and I studied and I studied and I did lots of things, courses and blah, blah, blah. And now I was actually jumping into this school again because of I did the naked retreat and Kate recommended on the naked group, in the naked retreat group of South Africa. And I had this pressure of time I had to do. I thought I must do it right away and I must decide because then there's cheaper and blah, blah. And then I decided not to go into the rush and to decide immediately if that is good for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just what I experienced since then, that I did not immediately say yes to this new academy approach, which I think it's a very beautiful approach and a very good one. and maybe it would help, but I think I must also realize that to contact my sorrow and the
Mm,
emptiness of having nothing uh, to do right away, in which I can prove myself or in which I can be someone or blah blah. And that is, and if you say, and it was nice that Jennifer said that, yeah, she, that you said, Jennifer, that you have your problems and you have your issues also with yeah, with your body wise, and that you have to restart again, and that you're wondering if the school was uh, connecting on that point, if you could connect from out of that point to evaluate of to evolve your issue. Let's say it, let's mean it like that. And my insecurity and my to fill it up right away, that's not a good thing to do. To feel the pain is actually much better
mm,
for me, and to take time for that and to see. But maybe it's also possible during the course. I don't know, because uh, if I'm jump in,
mhm,
then I maybe go I pass my. I know myself. I'm a little dancer. I go like this. So I can I'm very creative in avoiding my emptiness, actually.
mm,
And as a facilitator, that's the biggest challenge,
mm,
be shortly, to for me to not avoid this kind of emptiness where I arrive in more and more.
mhm,
Yes.
mm,
Since the naked, and now
mm,
being just before my retirement, yes, a part of me is very sad, actually.
mhm.
And that's where I am.
Yeah.
So to go into this training, which I like, I think it's a very good training, and it would help me maybe, I don't know. But at the moment, I left it open uh, to look, actually.
Mhm.
That's why I participate now again. Yes, in this second round.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate you bringing all that up, and I think you're pointing at something really important for everyone, which is that where we're at in our own reckoning with whatever issues that come up is going to affect our ability to show up as a facilitator for sure. And
Absolutely.
then hearing you talk about taking a pause to actually really feel into that, that makes my heart so warm because that's such a core principle of how I like to encourage people to, I mean, my my coaching business is around helping people figure out what they want. And the biggest thing I'm always telling people is take a pause, notice what's coming up, sit with what's coming up, and then bring that to the table, even if it feels conflicting or
Of course, yeah,
challenging, and being able to hold, in this case, the emptiness and the grief,
yeah,
um, with a desire. It sounds like there's also a desire, and like letting them both just sit at the table for a while rather than trying to rush to
yeah,
fix something or to change something. And I just want to say for everybody else, if you're finding yourself with the early bird feeling pressured, we have goals that we are trying to encourage people to sign up, obviously. But if you need something, make a request of Rianne, and if we can accommodate it in order to facilitate spaciousness for you, please ask, because I don't want people signing up and then feeling like, ugh, I didn't take the time with it, even if it would be beneficial to them. Like signing up and then regretting that you signed up, even though you want to take the class because you signed up too fast, and then you don't feel like you're investing the way that you would have if you had had the space. That's not good. I would much rather folks take a little extra time, feel into what they need to feel into, make arrangements on a logistical level for that to be what you need, and then
Yeah.
from there sign up and be able to move into it with the clarity that comes with having the spaciousness
Yeah.
to be able to make the choice in a way that honors what's going on for each of you. Because I know that this is a big investment. It's a decision about what you want to do with the next year of your life. It's a decision about what to do with your money, about how to spend your time. And I take that seriously. And I think one of the real bummers about the internet and the speed culture is like, sign up now, got to do it now. And we want to avoid that pressure. What we want is to encourage you to start going through the emotional process you need to go through, to be making a choice that honors you. So that's the intention for us is to, and that's why we have such a long registration period as well, to really give people time to consider. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Rianne.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a couple of people reach out to me saying, I can't make a decision right now. Could I still have the 15% discount? And just said, absolutely. Of course you can. It doesn't serve us to pressurize people into making decisions. And many of our conversations are one-on-one and quite high touch. So really factoring in personal
Yeah.
requirements and needs.
Mhm.
So it's entirely possible to still have the 15% discount and have the next 3 weeks until the early bird finishes on the 15th of
Mhm.
April, which is much more spacious to make that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm actually going to pop here into the chat and it'll be in the, we'll send out this recording as well. This is a different 15% code to the one that you got in the masterclass. And this one has no time expiry. So you have until the course starts to use it, but on the 15th of April, the pricing goes up to full price. So, of course, you're encouraged to use it before then because that's to your financial advantage, but very welcome.
Yeah. So,
Yes. So yeah. So yes, I must thank you, Marcia, for your reaction, and also Rianne. Um, so I must see, I must feel myself what's coming, and not
mhm.
to jump beforehand to go for something which is not uh, yeah, which will be cost too much energy. Actually, I have to have a pause on the place to feel myself. Actually,
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. Beautiful. Take that pause.
yes.
And then I hope you'll join us, and I hope you will find what you're looking for, and I hope you do not feel rushed in any way.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, it's not about time of the school. It's not about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's an internal process.
Yes, internal process. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
because
Yeah.
I have the feeling that facilitating me myself actually is the
Mm.
main thing for me.
Yeah.
Would be the main thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. To
Beautiful.
allow myself to be the way I am, and that's what I'm talking now for. I was doubting, shall I say something or not? But okay, it just feels good to say something. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, you're welcome.
Sounds like a transformation.
Yes, it is actually. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Mm.
Hmm. Other questions or thoughts or noticings, logistical, emotional, or otherwise?
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay. Well, Riam, would you be willing to go over just what the current, you kind of just went over some of the timelines, but just give folks any additional information that or reminders that might be helpful for people?
You mean reminders about timelines for registering
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah.
so the early bird pricing is available until the 15th of April. So that's still three weeks. And you have the 15% discount code to still use up until then. And it is still valid after then if you still need more time, but then the price will have automatically gone up. And I'm really open and available for conversations. You're welcome to WhatsApp me or to email me. Happy to hop on a call with you. And thanks, Dee Dee. I'll message you. Um, I find that, and there's no pressure, there's no pressure to join the course. I've been doing one of the things I love about my role is being like a hub. And I see people thread into all different courses, different facilitators, different in-person retreats and thread out again and into their lives and back into another through another lens. They might come into breath work or women's work or real deep sexual erotic work. And the benefits of it, of seeing all of that is that people are having their own experience. It's the timing of this is what it is. And there's always another time. There's always another experience that might be better for you, better suited to the way you need to learn, better suited to where you are in your life. And I've really learned to trust in that wisdom of, who jumps into the pot is the medicine and the ingredients that we're working with. And because you haven't jumped into this particular pot, doesn't make you not a beautiful ingredient. You may join something else or you may go somewhere else. It's beautiful. We're
Mm,
medicine for each other and yeah.
I love that analogy, Riam. Thank you.
Chiamo, did you want to say or ask anything specific? I'm also curious to know what your interest, where you are in your facilitation journey. And you
Sorry.
don't have to be.
No, I don't have much to say. Just that I feel like my work is moving me into a facilitation space. And yeah, I've been and still am dealing with a lot of doubt, to say I'm not trained as a facilitator, never have been. Um, and so, yeah, there's that element of can I do this? Guys, please, you're making noise. Can I do this? Um, and
Hmm.
it's, when I saw your, I actually, when I saw a message in the Red Retreat group, I felt like it was answering to this thing that's really growing and becoming more and more of a reality in my life. And with that, a lot of excitement, but really having to deal with this other side that's really nervous and a lot in doubt and wondering. Can I really
Hmm.
do this? And knowing though that I don't really have an option and this is where it's going. But so going into it though, not feeling very much at ease. And so this felt like, wow, this is so interesting for this to come up. And I wanted to come in and I didn't know much about the course, but to come in and hear about, what this entails. And I came in late, but I came in when we were talking about how this course allows people to gain the confidence, sometimes or often that they need to be able to do what they probably could do anyway, but different people are at different places, and with me, really, the confidence is something that I'm seeing, and it's coming up. And that doesn't mean that I couldn't overcome it without the course or whatever, because I am financially, it's not very evident for me or easy. But the reality is that this is what's coming up, and I am observing it and finding it very interesting. Um, and yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, as I say, I've never been um, trained in facilitation. I think I have a natural way, but I come from, I'm a lawyer by profession. I've done very little training, if any, in my profession, always been kind of behind a computer dealing with papers, which is one of the reasons I left. But and that excitement of being engaging with people and really being able to be, in that position is one of the things I find most exciting, but also most daunting. So that's what bringing me to this call.
Mm,
Hmm. Thank you for sharing that.
thank you.
Mm. Well, I really hope that you keep facilitating regardless of whether you join us on the course, because what I've seen you put out feels accurate. It feels like what's required on the ground right now. It feels like you're not only facilitating others, but you're facilitating yourself. And it's that piece in the woman's work that we talk about. As we birth ourselves, we birth each other.
Hmm.
And you can extend that to all people, of course. It's not gender specific, but we met in the context of the Red Retreat and under a big red tent as a bunch of wild women moving things through our bodies. And that's what the world needs. So just do it, even when you second guess and doubt yourself. Just keep doing it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's lovely to hang out with all of you. Some good conversation, some real heartfelt vulnerabilities and inquiry, very valid inquiry, deep inquiry. Really appreciate that. Mm.
It's been really lovely to meet all of you and get to know you a little bit today.
Mm. Yeah, thanks, Marsha, for
Yeah.
hanging out with us.
Yeah. I like hanging
Appreciate
out with y'all.
you. Well, thank you all. Lots of love. And I'm on the other end of an email and the other end of a WhatsApp. Reach out. Thank you all.
You all.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.
Bye, everyone.